Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today? I woke up this morning and it was pouring rain, and so I walked inside on the treadmill today. And so my day all feels all weird already because we usually walk outside, my husband and I. We go for our walk in the morning. We go for about 2 miles. And so this morning I got on the treadmill, and it's not quite the same being indoors and walking in the morning. And also, I didn't get a chance to talk to my husband this morning because he walked and then had breakfast and went to work. And I worked on my laptop and then walked and then had breakfast and went to work. And so my day feels off kilter, and the sky is gray. And I hope you guys are all doing well, though. I think we have another day of rain after this, and then I think we have a day of non-rain. I don't know if we'll see sunshine, but it's hard this time of year, isn't it? When you have gray and skies. My mom was just saying that's kind of been the case where she lives in her part of the country up in Canada. It's been very gray and overcast, and it's been affecting her mood too. But I hope today's card will brighten your day just a little bit. And I have actually two cards today. I started off with the original card. As you know, today's Casing Tuesday. And that's the day when we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. And so I gave it a makeover, and then I kind of went a little bit further because I wanted to do something else with it. So let's have a look at the card that we're giving a makeover to today. And the other thing, I wanted to invite you all over to the Facebook group because on our Facebook group we have a great way for you to share your cards that you make with a sketch. And if you click down below in the description of this video, you will find that link, and it will take you right to the page if you're not already a member. So here's today's sketch, and this sketch could not be simpler. Well, maybe it could, but it is a simple sketch. And what I love about this sketch is it's totally doable, and you can totally dress it up a lot. And that's what I did. It's a very simple sketch, and I think you're gonna love it. And so here's the layout. It's a very basic layout, a square with a frame and a greeting. It's just really nice and easy peasy, and I think you're gonna love it. Okay, let's hide these sketches. And all right, let's hide everything. I've got like everything stacked up in my thing today. I reinstated my host code so I can show you that afterwards and everything. So let's flip over to my other camera and let's just dive in because two cards is going to take a little longer than normal. All right. I use the Classic Cloche Bundle for this, and so this is the original card I made based on the sketch. Now, you might remember the original sketch had a square in it, and I just changed the square to a rectangle. So, very easy to do, and I use the Scalloped Contours Dies and the star-crossed embossing folder. Can you see that? It is such a cool embossing folder. It's like having two embossing folders in one, and it creates that nice diagonal design. So it's so cool. I love that. And then on my other card, I created a shaker card. Yay! Kind of based on the same card design, but I love the Scalloped Contour Dies with the Classic Cloche Bundle so much I wanted to create a shaker card. So I'm going to make both of these cards for you today. So let's talk a little bit about the supplies. So you'll need the Classic Cloche Bundle if you want to make this card. Nice thing about this, I did this in the pop of color is Fresh Freesia, but say you don't like Fresh Freesia because it's a non-traditional Christmas color. I like to do it because I don't know. I felt like freesia was like a sign of spring, and I know we haven't even made it through fall yet, but I just needed that nice purple colors to just like pull me out of my glum weather state. But what if you want to do this in a traditional color? We'll just sub out red. Do a red bow, a red cardstock, red ink, and there you go. And then now it has become a traditional color, or do a combination of red and green. But it's very easy to sub out the colors here and create your own color card. Anyway, these are the Classic Cloche Bundle. You'll also need, if you're going to make the shaker cards, you're going to need some of these cloche shaker domes. So those are really cool. It makes making the shaker card really easy. And then if you want to do the layers like I have them, the Scalloped Contours dies are awesome. You could also just cut rectangles on the same size, but oh my gosh, scallops and little stitching on the scallops. This is so beautiful. Definitely a must-have set of dies, because you're going to use these a lot on a lot of different cards. Even if you don't have the matching stamp set, this die set is just awesome. And I don't even know if I have the matching stamp set for this, but I love the die set so much that, you know, I know I haven't used the stamp set yet, but these dies are just great. Okay. Let's start off with this card. We're going to make the original card that I made first. So you're going to need a little piece of basic white, and this one measures 2.5 by 3 3/4. And we'll start off with, we want to create that cloche. So we'll use smoky slate ink, and we're just going to, this is that cloche stamp. Just tap, tap, tap. And I'm going to stamp this. I'm going to actually stand up so I can see this better. But I want to stamp this, you know, so I have enough room on the top, the bottom, the sides. Let's see. Yeah, that's about right. Just about there. And then we're going to add, we can put away smoky slate. We'll add in basic gray. We're going a little darker now. We're going to add the little village. And just try and center it in that cloche window, and right there. So you can see there's just a slight variation in the ink color. The smoky slate's a little lighter than that basic gray. And then we're going to come in with fresh freesia. I know, who would have thought I would put fresh freesia on a Christmas card? So we'll just do this and just ink this up. And this is actually the coloring. You could color this by hand, but guess what? We have a stamp for that. So what I'd like to do is just kind of hover it over and just look at all of the little houses. And just when you think you've got everything lined up, then you can stamp down. And there you go. You've just colored a whole bunch of those little houses. It's a little fresh freesia village, you know, where everyone's houses are fresh freesia. Nice, huh? All right. Okay, so then we're going to take, I've already cut these scallop layers because I thought this would take for a long time. So I just want to show you, I use the second largest in fresh freesia, and I ran that through with my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I cut myself a little layer, and then I'm just going to add this to this. Whoops. And this should center somewhat on here. Okay. All right, and we're building up our card. Okay, next, let's grab our card base. And the card base measures 11 by 4 1/4. So it's a half sheet of cardstock cut in half lengthwise. And then score in half at the 5.5 inch mark. And then what I did earlier, look at this. This is the star-crossed embossing folder. Can you see that? It's got kind of a grid design on an angle on the bottom, and it's got stars on the side. This is great because, you know, You might try and figure out how to do this with 2 embossing folders on an angle, but this one has it both in the same one, so it's like really easy peasy. So I already ran this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine because I just wanted to get it done. And so I'm going to adhere that right to my card base. So this was another smoky slate layer, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and so that just got run through. Just ran it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss. So I'm just going to line this up, hopefully line it up nicely, and then push it down. And this is just going to add a little texture to the background because otherwise that gray looks a little dull in the background. So then we can add this layer kind of over. I shoved it over a little bit to the side so that I'd have room for the greeting. If you watched last week's card, I kind of did the same thing with my card. I shoved it over to the side, and the overwhelming majority of you wanted to see or liked the layer of the card where it was over at the side rather than centered. So, you know, even though the original had a centered greeting, you can shove it over to the side. All right, so let's create this little label right here. And I think it was 3 1/4. Let's try 3 1/4 and see if that works. I'm going to use the Banners Pick-a-Punch. I think this is my favorite Pick-a-Punch out of, we have 3 right now, and I seem to grab this one the most. Okay, I'm just going to kind of push that down into the thing. When you cut, these things are very exacting. So if you're just a little bit bigger than 3 1/4, when you put it in that middle slot, I just push it down into the slot so it's nice and even. Let's see if this is the right size. 3 1/4 by 3/4 of an inch. It's either 3 1/4 or 3 1/2. I think it was 3 1/4. I tried so many different things last night, and I'm not sure what I ended up with. And it's the starting measurement is different. Yes, 3 1/4. So this starts off as 3 1/4 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm just going to center the greeting. And isn't this a great greeting? It says, "It's the most wonderful time of the year." I just want to start singing when I see that greeting. So hopefully I haven't created an earworm in your ear that will plague you all day. So I'll just add some Tombow to this and just add that just below the greeting, like that. All right, and then I want to add a little bow. So earlier I tied a little fresh freesia bow. And I've been finding that mini glue dots with the humidity and everything like that, they stick for a while and then they stop sticking. So what I've been doing instead is I've been using some tear and tape. So I just take a little bit of tear and tape and I kind of put it on the back part of the bow, kind of like right here. And because tear and tape, when you remove the liner, it's see-through. So even though this ribbon is sheer, you're still going to be able to see right through it. It's still going to look sheer. But the thing is, with these 2 wings or bow loops, oh, okay, I need to stick that back on. It didn't come off. It didn't peel off. The backing peeled right off of the ribbon. So just press that down just a little bit. And usually what happens is it starts to stick down onto something, and then I'll just back it up. Here we go. All right, and that will give it just a little bit more length to pin it all down. All right, last night when I was doing this and I wasn't on camera and I wasn't picking things slowly, it just worked like really, really easily. Okay. And now I'm just fumbling with it, but I want to say that this is going to keep your bows on there a little bit. I'm just kind of spreading out my bottom just a little bit. And I'm going to stick that up top like that. There. And I think that's going to hold a lot longer than a mini glue dot. And then I'm going to take some rhinestone jewels. And now I'm thinking of another song that has rhinestones in it. And I'm not going to sing it because otherwise you're going to have another earworm. What is it today with the earworm songs? Okay. I think these are my smaller jewels. I've got some bigger, there's bigger and smaller ones on each of these. So I'm just going to add a few. And I think these are the smaller ones. Just adding a few of these onto here just to give it a little bling. And there you go. This card was not very hard, right? It kind of came together quickly, and we didn't use a cloche dome on this one. And I just wanted to show you that you can use that stamp set even without the cloche shaker domes, and you don't have to make a shaker card. And it looks really kind of cute just as it is. It's a little village under a glass dome, and it's so cute, right? It's got a little bit of texture in the background, so it breaks it up, even though I'm only using 2 colors. All right, well, while I was making this, I was thinking, you know what? I really do want to make a shaker card, and I don't want to make it on a separate day. So I thought, why don't I make the shaker card right now using the same supplies so that you have 2 different options. So I like these layers a lot, so I decided that, let me put these cards aside and bring this one out here. So I decided I would bump up the layers a little bit. So first of all, I need to create this window right here. And so I've cut myself again with the second largest Scalloped Contour die. I've cut myself a layer out of Fresh Freesia. And this one I will die cut on camera so you can see what I did. And I'm going to use these dies right here. And I need my Stampin' Cut and Embossing sheet. And if you have any questions while I'm doing this, please ask, because I can always answer them afterwards. Okay, so we've got number 1. Let me turn this way. Number 1, base platform. 2, thin die adapter. 3, number 3 plate is a clear plate. Okay. That's your sandwich. Then you're going to put your cardstock. And let's just do this right here, right now. I want to have this. I'm looking at the dotted frame. And I'm going to have the same distance on the sides and the top, okay? Because I want to have a little bit of extra distance on the bottom. So just as long as you kind of eyeball that and you've kind of got the same distance from top to bottom, and you don't hit it as it goes through. Actually, it's a little easier if it goes through with the top first. It's going to run through the machine better. Grab yourself another 3 plate, and then we're going to run that through. And we're creating that window that cloche is going to, the cloche shaker dome is going to go through. This is an extra piece. You could do something with it if you wanted to, or use it to punch extra things out of. All right, so here is our little window. So we're going to create the little scene that goes into the window. So again, I cut myself a piece of 2.5 by 3 3/4, and this is going to fit behind here, and we want to be able to maneuver this. So I cut it, of course, a little smaller, and then we'll be able to maneuver it. So we're stamping it in the exact same way as I stamped the other ones. So starting with Smoky Slate and the kind of the glass dome. And then this one, I don't have to be 100% precise. If it's a little crooked, it's okay because we're going to be able to shift that. Then come in with basic gray, and we're going to stamp the village and just make sure it is centered side to side. Okay, and then we're going to do fresh freesia, again repeating the design, and don't get fresh freesia ink on yourself like I just did. And then we're just going to kind of line up the houses again. I like to get right hovering over the top, and then I look at each house and look, okay, yeah, and then I stamp down. All right. Okay, I think I'm coming up to the part where we have to be careful. Okay, so I've got my stamped image, I've got my hole for my cloche. I'm gonna grab one of these little dome guys. There we go. All right, so what we're gonna do, these are the subtle shimmer sequins, and we're gonna add some to here. Have you ever made a shaker card before? So one of my first shaker cards I made, I had been stamping for a little while, and I forgot to put the window sheet in. So it's very important that you figure out a pattern how to do this so you don't forget a crucial part, because when you're creating a shaker card, you need to make sure all the things are placed. You need to have your sequins, you need to have your dome or your window sheet already placed. Like if this was a regular card, you could have put window sheet behind here, but we don't need that. So anyway, I'm just going to grab a handful of these, and the idea is I'm going to plop them right on top of my scene, and you want to use enough that you have a nice little dollop, but you don't want to use too much, because if you use too much, then your whole image is going to be covered the entire time, and you just want enough that it's going to look fun when you shake it. So I've done 2 pinches of little sequins, and you want to make sure that they are inside that little line right there, and then you want to close this up so you don't spill them. Then these close shaker domes have adhesive on the top side and the bottom side, so you're going to take off the bottom side adhesive. It just peels off nice and easy like that. And then you're going to take this, and again, better if you stand up, and you're going to maneuver your dome. I'm going to bring it just a little bit down. It's still going to be in the camera, but I want to be able to get over top of it as much as possible. And you want to just kind of make sure it's even all around. And then you're going to press it down really nicely. And you know what? Don't worry. See, there's adhesion all the way to the edges, but don't worry if you have like a little bit of it coming off, because we're going to adhere this all behind here. It's going to all be covered up. So, all right. So there is the first part. And then we're going to peel off the top part. And then we're going to put this one on top. So just kind of bring it down, maneuver it. And then press down. Okay. And there we go. We've got a snowy, happy little village. All right. So then I'm going to take another layer of the Scalloped Contours dies. This is the biggest die, and I've cut it out of basic white. And then what we'll do is we'll just add Tombow to the back of here. And then we'll just adhere this centered onto here. Okay. And then we'll grab another card base. I cut it in the same way, 11 inches by 4 1/4, score and half by at 5 1/2. This time I did not do any embossing in the background because you've only got about 1/4 inch showing all the way around. It's not worth the effort to do that in this case. So then we'll just add some Tombow here. And just adhere this to the front of the card base. Like that. And then we're going to add a little greeting underneath, and same size as before, 3 1/4 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And I'll do the same thing. I'm going to come in here, punch both ends. This one is a little under 3/4 of an inch. So, yeah. Can I get one exactly? No. But that's okay, because it still looks good. And then we're going to take our greeting. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Are you starting to sing that song yet? Maybe when we exchange some of this rain for snow, you'll feel happier. Maybe not if you have to drive in it. Okay, and then we're just going to adhere this right down underneath. This was one of the fastest shaker cards I've made, right? It doesn't take a long time. You know, you've got your different layers. And then I just am going to embellish it with a bow, and I'll do the same trick as I did before. Let's see. I'm just actually tearing off little 1/2 inch strips. And this time I'm trying to pull down the ends a little bit so that they stick out a little differently. Okay. So let's peel off. There we go. See, that's how it happened last night. It was like really easy. And now, of course, it's not going to be easy, but it's not hard. I'm making it look terribly hard, but there we go. Okay, so now these guys are going to stick really nicely. Bow placement in the exact same spot. Can you see there's a little tiny piece of it? Maybe you can't see that. There's a little tiny piece of adhesive just kind of sticking out. All you need to do is tuck it behind. It's just going to stick onto itself. And then you'll just put that bow right in the corner there. So cute. So cute. And this is the Fresh Freesia ribbon, and this came out in the annual catalog, and we have 5 different colors of this ribbon, plus we have a red that's very similar. This is some of my favorite ribbon because it ties so nicely and it's not bulky. So when you mail it, it's going to be fairly flat, which is a real nice thing. So those are my 2 little shaker cards. Aren't they cute? Like, I know it's kind of hard to see, but there's the little sequins inside there, and there's just enough of them to make them fun without like just having to fill the entire thing. So just really cute cards. And then here is the simpler version of that same card. So let's see, which one do I like the best? This one and, okay, those two. So there we go. So what do you think? Do you like the simple card? Do you like the shaker card? I think both of them are cute, and they both kind of have like the same feel to them. You can make both of them fairly quickly. It wasn't really very hard, right? You just had to do the stamping. There was really no coloring because the fresh freesia ink just filled in that scene very quickly, and it just looks like a really snowy, fun scene. So there you go. And don't you think this will look cute in a different color, like maybe red, a pop of red? I think that would look great too. All right, I'm coming back over to you guys. So if you want to make these cards and you need the supplies for them, pop on over to my blog. I do have a host code going. Let me show you that. This is my October host code. If you spend $50 with me in October using the host code, you are going to get a package of our new garden gems. They're not even available to order yet, except if you're a demonstrator. You can pre-order these, but aren't they pretty? They're so pretty. And they are going to be available in November, so I'm going to scoop them all up, all the ones that I need, and I will mail them to you at the beginning of November. And so that's the reward for that. And of course, even if you spend a small amount, at least $15, you will get one of my free with purchase tutorials that you can choose. All right, let me scroll up and say hello to all of you. I have 4 of my team members on with me this morning. It's so good to see you guys here. Hi, Dee, Ellie, Janine, and Amy. Oh, Janine, I see you got it. Rhinestone Cowboy. Dun, dun. Yeah, I wasn't going to sing. I'm not. I can carry a tune, but not that well. And then it's the most wonderful time of the year. Yes. And I was thinking of Rhinestone Cowboy. And I know, why did that pop into my head? I don't know. I just, yeah. Yes, yes, yes. So sad. And I hope that song's not in your head all day, because it probably will be in mine. Oh my gosh. Good morning, Patty. So good to have you here with us this morning. Janine says she likes the shaker card better. Yeah, I know. It's hard to beat like a fun card, right? It's hard to beat like the energy of a fancy fold card or a movable card, but it's nice to have a simpler option, right? Because, it just is. And you know what? You could probably turn this one into a birthday card, right? Well, either one could be a birthday card. If you did happy birthday down at the bottom, and you maybe, even the fresh freesia color would work really well. So, it's nice to have an option because, or like a thank you card, you could do that, a thank you card. Sometimes you don't need like a super fancy card, so it's nice to see like a simpler design. So I like both of them, but shaker card. Good morning, Mary. Mary's going to watch the replay. She likes them both. The shaker card is harder to mail. Right. So what I would do, keep in mind for the shaker card, maybe those are cards if you don't want to spend a lot of money. If you're not sending a parcel or a package to that person or handing it out in person, just keep those for your very special near people. And then you can always, reserve the other one. You can do the other design, right? And instead for mailing out. And the other one, this one is like really like pretty easy to make. It does have some layers to it, but relatively speaking, if you had like an assembly line, this one wouldn't be too hard to make. So, different options and options to use one day, once you run out of shaker domes, unless you buy up a whole bunch of those closed shaker domes, so you always have them forever and ever, which you could do. But it's nice to have options, right? So I hope that those 2 cards, I hope you liked them. And let me know if you have any questions afterwards, and I will make sure that I answer them in the comments. I hope this week gets a little less glum and gray. I know some of you probably are in sunshine right now, and I hope that's the case. But if you're in a gray part of the world right now, I hope you see sunshine soon. I will be back here or on YouTube on Friday doing a live at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you join me there. I'd love to see you. That's the day I do like a 3D or a fancy fold. I don't know what I'm going to make yet, but it should be fun. I never really know at this time of the week what I'm going to make. I have to consult the supply list because I try not to use something that is not orderable. So if I plan my projects too far in advance, that's what might happen. So usually by tomorrow, I'm like looking at my supplies and seeing what I want to use and checking the supply list, and I will design something fabulous, absolutely fabulous for Friday. So I hope you join me then. Mary says, you look like it's cold up there. You know, our house is kind of interesting. The heating zones, it's not, the heating system is wonky. So different parts of the house heat differently. So what I like to wear is I would like to wear like a kind of like a nice shirt that covers my arms. And then I like to wear a vest over top to keep my core warm. And sometimes I have a space heater in here, and I use that when this part of the house doesn't heat up properly. So you know what? We are making do with whatever it is. It's not super cold today, but I actually am I also feel the cold really, really easily. So I just try and make do with my stuff. It's nice to dress in layers because it does keep me a little bit warmer. Oh, and I'll shout out, I love these tops. They are from Cuddle Duds. Just a shout out. I'm not a sponsor of Cuddle Duds or whatever, but I love Cuddle Duds, and I get them over on Kohl's, and they make long sleeve shirts, and they make turtlenecks, and they are a nice base layer to wear next to your skin, and they are just so soft. And so I wear these a lot, and I get them in different colors, and I don't know, they're just wonderful. It's nice to have your comfort wear that you like to wear all year round. Sometimes I even wear them in summer. I know, it's kind of sad. My mom and my sister, they would be like, I know whenever I see them, they always dress so nicely, and I kind of just have my standard sort of like I'm comfortable kind of wear. Sometimes I do get dressed up, but I kind of have my standard sort of comfortable wear. Anyway, that's probably too much information for a Tuesday morning, but that was just a real aside. Mary says, I get cold easy too. Another reason I'm better off in the South. Yes. We lived in the South for 12 years. And I got really used to it being warmer more often. And then when you move back north again, it's hard. It's hard for your body to adjust. And so I think I've never made the adjustment. But I have to admit, I never was that warm to begin with. I always felt the cold more intensely. So, you just learn how to keep yourself warm through layers. And some people, like the people that live in the Boston area, when we first moved here, and, they would be like, we would be wearing down jackets, and they were still in sweatshirts, and they just didn't quite understand. I guess they, lived here all their lives, and they just don't feel the cold like we do. So to each their own, right? All right, guys, thank thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you on Friday. Have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.